Most of us grew up and even continue to this date watch films, but very few of us really think about the people who decide who we see on screen.
And even fewer imagine that one of those people could actually be a doctor.
So today's guest has lived both of those worlds, from medicine to the movies.
So we're joined by Dr. Gautam Kishan Chandani today, a casting director who's worked on multiple projects like Dr. G, Once Upon a Time in Mumbai, and Chapa.
His job, finding the right faces, the right stories, and the right people to bring characters to life on screen.
But what makes his journey really interesting is where it all started in medicine and how it's evolved into a career in the film industry.
So, in this episode, we'll go behind the scenes of casting, talk about what it takes to break into the industry, and understand how a completely unconventional career can still be built on a medical foundation.
Dr. Gautam, welcome to From Scrubs to Startups. This is going to be a fun episode.
Scrubs to startups, yeah, we're making big leaps for startups. No more counting sheep startups, while others merely weep. From scrubs to startups, gonna make this money heat. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me. Not a doctor anymore. I stopped attending those CMEs that are crucial for for maintaining your registration. So I think in 2012 or 13 or 14, I've forgotten. I stopped pursuing those CME points that you needed, and so I mean now I'm not. I don't think I would be allowed to be called a doctor, but still, I don't put that doctor credit in the films anymore. Anurag in my first film Black Friday, he put it, and for I think the first few films he was hell bent on using the doctor thing for the credits. But eventually, and by 2010, I think I stopped putting the doctor credit.
That actually, brings me to my first question. How do people in the film industry react when they learn that you're a doctor?
Usually it's always a wow, surprise kind of a thing. I think the transition from a doctor to films is way more surprising than from a
Yeah.
engineer or a CA or
Totally.
other professions.
Right.
You can kind of, हाँ ठीक है, possible है. But when they hear a doctor, they still till today there is a lot of surprise.
And honestly, that was the case with us as well. So I guess the most logical, and I think that's probably something that most of our listeners would also want to know. What triggered that switch? क्या आपको पता था MBBS के वक्त भी कि ऐसे कुछ हो सकता है? Was it a dream? और क्या हो गया कि आपने suddenly MBBS किया, इतनी मेहनत की, and then you're in the film industry?
See, this question I've answered like a lot of
I
times.
can imagine.
I think, you see any of my old interviews. So I'll try and keep it as concise as possible. So I was always a movie buff growing up.
Okay.
I think my dad got a video and I was hooked to films. I mean,
Aren't we all?
and, yeah, and back in those days there were video libraries and we had a great one in Chembur, and that kind of made me hooked. I had a cousin who, shout out to Ajay Kishan Chandani, who introduced me to the films to watch, the books to read, the music to listen to, my first drink, everything. So I was a big movie watcher, and by the age of 18, when it was time to decide what I wanted to take up, I was clueless. I had no idea, and there was this family pressure because my sister had strictly said no. So I always used to keep hearing that कि अरे हॉस्पिटल तो तू ही और कौन संभालेगा. Not very academically oriented also. But I was like, हाँ यही करना है, कुछ तो पता नहीं है. तो काइंड ऑफ प्राइवेट कॉलेज में एडमिशन हुआ मेरा महाराष्ट्र में, एंड आई वेंट अलोंग देयर, एंड देन मिडवे आई रियलाइज, ओ गॉड, ये कहाँ आ गया मैं, दिस इज नॉट माय कप ऑफ टी.
So it's very funny. And I'm sorry to interject you, but I think it's very funny you mentioned that, because हमेशा, and at least from our experience, हमने ये देखा है that it's always the students who have a family background in medicine who decide to opt out.
I don't know. I think I have a few friends who have continued their parents' legacy. They've carried it forward. Like I don't know any of my friends, at least 3 or 4 that I can think of whose parents were also doctors. Nobody switched. I was the only one. So then I think I was on the SSC, HSC board, so it was not that tough.
Right.
So suddenly in MBBS you come and you see कि oh wow, this is a different level of studying, like कैसे पढ़ के निकल जाते थे, but this was a little too much. So second year I think I was still going along, struggling but managing, and then in second year I was at my aunt's place in Belgaum, and there I saw Roja in Tamil,
Okay.
Mani Ratnam's film. And that it was in Tamil. I just went and saw it, and then I saw it again the next day, and I was blown away by that film. That film, the music, Rahman's first music album, and Mani Ratnam's direction, Santosh Sivan's cinematography. It just blew me away that in my mind that, oh, this is something I would like to do. But a senior told me that okay, now you want to be in films, but you cannot quit. Your parents are spending money to send you here, and you have to be responsible. You have to finish what you started, otherwise you'll never complete what you take up. That thought stuck in my head, and I somehow took an extra year and a half to complete the course, and somehow managed, did internship, and then I was still not happy. Mom said, she's a gynecologist herself, and she said that because it's all theory you've been part of, I think once you start working in a hospital, you will start enjoying it way more. It'll be practical, it'll be good interaction with patients. So, but I joined MGM hospital near Parel, and Janbujka had taken a very cool posting where there was not too much of emergencies and all. But I used to be unhappy leaving my house, I used to sit in the BST bus and at 8 o'clock or 7:30 and wonder when I'll come back home. But I kind of still stuck around for a year and a half, and some things I realized, no man, I'm really unhappy. And I told my parents, I've done whatever you have asked me to do, but this is not my cup of tea. I want to get into films. And that's how I kind of quit medicine. And then the journey of films was something else only, how I got in.
Did your parents already know, even while you were working at MGM? Did your parents know that you were very interested in films or that you wanted to enter the film industry?
No. They had no idea. I was a very sheltered, quiet guy. I used to hide things.
Okay.
When I used to go to tuitions in Ghatkopar, a friend you told him, अरे तुम उसको यहाँ भेजो जहाँ मेरे बच्चे जाते हैं. So I used to go there, and half of the time I used to bunk and watch a film somewhere and go back home saying हाँ मैं class attend करके आया and all. So I used to do all that, yeah. And they had no idea because they were working.
Right.
Our own nursing home, they were working from morning till night. My mom has done more than 10,000 deliveries since we had the hospital for some 32 years, from 75 to 2007 or 5 or something. 30 years, they just worked so much. They had no time to, had no idea what their kids were doing. Like my sister was very academically oriented, very honest, and sab kuch jo used to come in the top 5. I was like languishing somewhere below, so always hiding stuff, never confiding, nothing of that sort. So they had no idea about what I wanted to do in life.
No, but that just brings me, it just reminds me of something very funny that happened recently. One of my mom's friends, her son, just speaking of hiding things from your parents. So, उन्होंने both doctors बेटे को tuition में भेज दिया. They assume कि कर रहा है वो, and they wanted him to go into medicine. 10th standard, 11th हो गया, then 12th हो गया, उसने board exam दिया. फिर marksheet आया, and marksheet पे वो देख रहे हैं कि physics है, chemistry है, mathematics है. And what he had done is, without having told them, he had just dropped bio. They did not figure out for 2 years.
Good for him.
Last tuition, nobody knew. And after 2 years, they were just like clueless कि क्या करेंगे अभी.
Shit, had I known this before, I would have done it.
But I will introduce you to that person for just future tips. But that just brings me to another question, that if you had to go back in time, would you have quit at second year, or do you still think that going through second year and that time at MGM contributed to who you are right now, even as in, even though you're not in medicine really?
Um, yeah, I do regret things, even though you're told never to regret anything. But I think I gained a lot of. I had a great time in Loni, where I studied Pravaranagar. It was, I think, for the first private colleges. I have a great bunch of friends. The life in the village that I lived, the kind of things I did over there. Those things were special. I think I made some great friends over there, and I maybe the MGM experience could have been avoided, but the Loni experience I loved. I'm still in touch with most of my friends, and we keep going off and on. We go to Shirdi and then stay with the local friends who are living in the villages nearby. So I'm still in touch with them. So that I wouldn't have liked to give up.
In fact, I think it's worth mentioning how this episode all came together. So it is through one of your friends, in fact,
Yeah.
Tony. So Dr. Rakhi More, who's both a mentor to
Yeah.
Meg and me,
And a huge shout out to her.
helping us put together.
Yeah. Shout out to Rakhi. Yeah, like we're still in touch with Rakhi and her husband Milind, and it's just great memories attached to that place. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that brings me to my next question was, how did your parents react? Because they did not know anything about the fact that you had a deep inclination towards the film industry. So how did your parents
No,
react?
they were taken aback,
Okay.
and they were at the time ki, what will you do? How will you survive? Because I think you guys are lucky now that in your era there are so many things people can do. In my time, there were no McDonald's or anything that you can go and do a job there or something, and I think in India, there was no dignity in labor as it is today. Back then in the 90s, people didn't respect, many things. Many kind of jobs were not respected. Today, so much of, social media and, things being explained, means now we feel ki, whatever you do and honest day's work is worth it, it doesn't matter. It's all because you're from an upper middle class family and what will you do? How will you take care of yourself? So that was the main worry, and they were clueless because they just knew, medicine ho, ya engineering ho, ya law ho, films was something nobody in my family was connected to films. So they were worried. But within a couple of years of, leaving medicine, I got into the ad film business through a friend, and, I started making good money. Within a year and a half, I was making ad films paid really well. Your travel and food, everything was paid for. And, they saw कि अच्छा हाँ इस पैसे आ रहे हैं. I started my, or it was always a joint account with dad in, Allahabad Bank. And suddenly, now I said, no, I want my own bank account. So once they say कि हाँ पैसे आ रहे हैं, then they start relaxing. Then they know कि okay, he can take care of himself. Then they become cool.
So you mentioned that it took you about 2 years, right from the time you left medicine to, earn a decent income for yourself. So what happened in the 2 years? Can you just walk us through that?
See, because I had no connections at all in the film business. So I joined a part-time course. I gave an entrance for film and television production course in Xavier's, XIC. So it was a part-time course, twice or thrice a week, or every day in the evening or something like that. Or on the weekends it was full day or something like that. So a lot of like-minded people I met there. So that was a close to a 9 or 10 month course. So I was doing that, and the projects that I was involved in, they were all those groups. Whatever we did together, they got the top prize, be it an ad film or a
Nice.
documentary or a sound story, whatever. So I noticed that my love for music, all that was kind of, I was able to show my talent in that, adding soundtracks or whatever, somewhere some visual things also over there. And so you kind of realize ki and then we got jobs from films division to make. But then that another year or 6 months we spent in that, making docu-film. My group, 3-4 of us, we formed a group, and we were invited by films division to make films for them. So we made some idli bitli money, but then I realized, okay, we don't have the technical finesse, you know. So after that, I was like, okay, I tried in films but couldn't get through. Then I joined ad films. Then in ad films, within my first couple of months, I started making very decent money. And then I did ads for a year or so, and I was like not happy at all because everything had to be clean and nice. Those were the days in the early 2000s when the ads were very like not as realistic with real faces that you've been seeing for the last 10-15 years, you know, like a Raghuveer Yadav or a Vijay Raj in ads. Everybody was chikna, upmarket, and you know, those kind of films were being made. And
So
everything
do you
had
have
to
some
be clean.
interesting stories from those days?
Yeah, not really. I mean, it was when I joined Anurag, when I was doing Black Friday, is because I was used to like perfect curtains and, you know, because everything had to be perfect. You know,
Right.
the flower pot should be in the right place and everything should be correct. The pillows should be, you know, the sofa pillows should be laid properly. And cut to when I was doing Black Friday and we were ready to take a shot, but I was spending time doing it the ad way, and Anurag scolded me कि Gautam, this is a feature film, this is film में सब real होता है, ये ad film नहीं है करके, you know. He said like just let it be as it is, I don't care. So something like that has happened a couple of times. Then I said, अच्छा हाँ, film is real, means whatever films I was part of were all realistic films. If you've seen Black Friday or Devdi or No Smoking or all those kind of films are very real versus what you saw from Dharma, those kind of films, which I was not at all interested in being a part of.
Just to clear it up for our audience, the Anurag
Yeah.
Yes. No, but I think, and that really, because you did mention that you didn't have any connections, and the one impression, and maybe you can also tell us whether it's true or not, everybody has about the film industry is that घुसने के लिए solid connection लगता है. Is that true? And if not, like, how do you navigate through that? Because, like you said, you did not come from any connection. You worked in the ad world. So, how did you go from the ad world to working with Anurag Kashyap on a major production?
See, everywhere to enter any industry, it is difficult. But you have to persevere, push, and you will get through. You should obviously have some kind of talent that fits into that world. If you're totally disconnected and if you don't have a sense of whatever music or art or production or whatever, there has to be something connected to films that should be there in you. You will find a way then. For me, it was after doing ads, I tried at so many places, houses as well. But they said, नहीं आपने ad किया है, आपको तो film का experience ही नहीं, तो हम कैसे करेंगे ये वो करके. I used to get rejected everywhere. And eventually I had met Anurag through my DVD library guy. And we used to go to the same भाई. He told me कि ये डॉक्टर है, आपको असिस्ट करना चाहता है. He told Anurag, and Anurag was like, doctor hai, acha. Then he called me for a screening of Paanch, which is a film that never released. And he called me for that, and we kept in touch. Then I was a part of a documentary. This ad film wali colleague, she introduced me to one guy from New York who had come down to make a docu-film on filmmakers. So where again he had to interview Anurag. So I met Anurag again over there. And I begged him, I said, please let me assist you. And he said, nahi yaar, team to full hai. And by that time, through some contact, I had a chance almost to join, but I wasn't sure. But Farah Khan was making a film with Shah Rukh Khan before Main Hoon Na. Some film to be shot in Malaysia. I don't know which film it was. So somebody through some contact said ki aapko, see, I'll try, you will have to fund your own flight ticket and all, and then I'll try. But I said, yeah, it's the kind of cinema I don't want to do. And by that time I had learned enough about Anurag and his work because I knew he's the guy who wrote Satya, which was one of my all-time favorite films. And speaking to him, I realized, okay, somebody I would like to associate with. But his team was full. So then I just one day went to him and just told him, see, I know your team is full and you have no place for an assistant, but listen, you know what? I have some money of my own. I know you're shooting in Jaipur. I will come on my own expense. I won't stay in your hotel. I will not, I'll manage my own food. Just let me be on your set to learn. I don't want anything. I'll fund my entire thing. You don't need to pay me a single rupee. And when he saw that desperation in me, he said, "Chal, you're my ninth assistant." So that passion, that desperation, if you have you will get through. Which I did the same thing with my casting associate. He was with me since 2018, and he was fed up of casting in a couple of years, and he had originally come to me to get him to get into aiding assistant director. But I said, "Nahi yaar, right now I don't have the contact." So I connected him to Casting Bay, one of my very close friends, the associate. She knows you as a good casting associate. You do what? You again, I told him the same thing what I had offered. Said, go live on your own, travel on your own, be there, don't ask for any salary or anything. And he did that. He was staying 20 kilometers away at some friend's house. He used to go on his bike to the set.
Nice. Right.
Which I think because people have so many avenues and so many things now, that madness and that desperation to be a part of something is very lacking in today's times. But anyone who's trying to join in should have that streak of desperation, madness to be a part of something. Wanting it really badly, you will get through. It'll happen.
And I think that just is such a reality check for a lot of people, as you said, that you really have to have that passion. And if you have that passion, that perseverance, you will make it through most likely. But I do want to go back to the part where you said that initially you faced a lot of rejections. What was going through your mind, and what was your way of coping with it? Because I'm sure there must have been moments where you said, okay, am I doing the right thing? And how did you come out of those moments of self-doubt?
Yeah, I think those rejections were very tolerable because it's good and it's bad to have a roof on your head and where your parents, so you're not struggling for food and shelter.
Yeah.
That was taken care of. So I always had my room and my DVD and my movies, and I had the ad films to do whenever, because even with Anurag, after I started working with him, Black Friday took a while to start. There were a lot of projects that would start and shut, so a lot of people worked without money for a while. But Anurag's way of giving salary was access to his books, to his DVDs, and to all the knowledge that he had, that he gave, which was far better than any kind of salary. But a lot of people did struggle because there wasn't money in those days. And I had that thing that, okay, I had experience in ad films. So whenever any ad would happen, so if there's no more work happening, I would go into an ad.
Okay.
But now, when I've been trying to direct a film, from 2012, 13 till 15, I developed 2 scripts and both didn't work out. So that puts you in depression, and that is a tough phase, So I've still not made my film. Then I had quit casting for 4 or 5 years in between. Then I came back. If you see in my IMDb, there'll be a gap between 2013 and 2018. And something clicked, man. Something worked. I said, okay, forget it. Nahi hua, chalta hai, koi problem nahi. Go back to casting. Something I had quit. I should tell people, mujhe nahi karna for Pataka and other projects. So then Anurag came to know, Asha, you're back in casting. And then he got me again to all his films, from Sacred Games 2.
So what made you realize, you were working with, as an AD, and you're working on the advertising part as well. So what made you realize that casting is something that you really enjoy and that you want to go ahead in that?
Actually, casting is something जो मेरे पे थोपा गया था. I was an AD who was in charge of casting. So back in those days, there was no specialized thing like it is now. There should be 4 to 5 assistants on any film, and it was like, अच्छा तू casting देख, तू costume देख, तू art देख, तू continuity देख, or तू extras का देख, like background motion. So there should be like 4 or 5 people for that. And there was nothing specialized like how the Hollywood system that is deeply entrenched now in Indian films. So back then I was an AD who was in charge of casting in the pre-production part, and I was doing continuity during the shoot. And while the film was In post production, when the credits were being readied, Anurag said, "अच्छा सुन मैं तेरे को ना casting director की credit दे रहा हूँ करके." I was like, "अच्छा ऐसा credit होता है क्या? I didn't know." पर देखा नहीं है क्या Hollywood films में? मैं बोला हाँ, दिया था कभी तक. Then I came to know, okay, there is a casting director credit. So that's how I landed in casting, and then I was aiding only, but then because Anurag Black Friday never released on time, so Anurag used to write other people's dialogues. So many times where some new people used to be there where he was doing dialogues, he should have अच्छा मेरे पास casting director है उसको रख लो करके. So then he used to घुसाओ me in projects like that. So धीरे it became like अच्छा यार aiding would take a good part of 6 to 8 months to a year. Well, casting was something that got over in 2 months. And by that time, by 2009-10, I had fatigue from aiding, and I was like, now I want to direct my own. Casting is a better option because you have time on your side, you know, and you have assistants who do also work for you. As an AD, you are just doing your job and the larger job at hand, like, you know, you don't have any personal time. In casting, I had that personal time. So then I was like, okay, this is good. Like, you know, I stopped aiding after a point, and then I was like, हाँ, casting side by side करता रहूँगा and try and make my film.
You still watch as many films as you used to before you joined the movies?
Now in the last since COVID and smartphones, no यार. पहले तो मैं 3 पिक्चर देखता था यार एक दिन में. अभी वो अभी नहीं है वो. Last I think 6-7 years I haven't watched. पहला मामी फेस्टिवल IMAX वडाला में होता था. And I used to go and watch like सुबह जाता था like a student. I used to go. Mom used to see me going, and then I used to come back at night. So every day seeing 3-4 films and being there only. One day I was like exhausted. I was like मैं नहीं देख सकता. So I was at home till afternoon. And mom said तू गया नहीं फेस्टिवल करके? बोले नहीं आज जरा थक गया था. हाँ अरे गाना ऐसा करके. That day I realized wow, I'm in a great business where I'm forced to watch films, like, you know, your parent is getting upset that you didn't go to watch. Like, it was surreal for me that day.
So you mentioned COVID, and that actually brings me to something that I want to ask. How was the COVID period for the film industry? I know that, you know, a lot of things were not happening as was with the rest of the world, but especially with casting and the film industry, how do you think was your experience there?
I think the first 6 months were bad for everyone, but by September or something, things picked up. So they were like, we will shoot. Because by that time, there was so much of demand from the OTTs to make content that कैसे तैसे हो रहा था. सब online Zoom test, वो सब शुरू हो गया था. Even now the time is bad because now things are like, you know, a lot of Hindi films are tanking. You know, leave aside a Dhurandhar or a whatever, 1 or 2 films, most of the films don't work. So even the producers are clueless as to what to make. And the films that used to work like Piku, Pink and those, you know, multiplex films, they have completely shifted to OTT. All that is so easily available on OTT that nobody is making that 15-20-30 crore wala picture. Small to medium budget, you know, which brings in the families. That's all shifted to OTT. So there is a big churning happening right now. So COVID time was still okay. There were times when okay, shoot रुक जाता था, एक किसको हो गया तो रुक गया shoot or something like that. But COVID time, after the first 6 months, there was a lot of work.
So, would you in a sense say that OTT has kind of really badly impacted the film industry? Or is it something else? Because in general, yes, that is the buzz कि आजकल Bollywood movies इतनी चलती नहीं है. Like you said, except for the odd, exception like a Dhurandhar. Is there any other factor, or it's just that अभी OTT है plus YouTube पे इतना content easily available है, तो वो जो पहले barriers थे कि एक बड़ा production, big budget, वो barriers निकल गए हैं?
देख OTT ने क्या किया ना, see यार, वो बिगाड़ दिया producers को. So they stopped caring about what the quality of the product was. You know, theater में चलेगी कि नहीं. They used to make it primarily for OTTs. They kind of forgot the you know, theater वाली audience assured that you are going to get X amount of money. Right. That you stop caring about the theatrical, and that kind of ruined the things, you know, because they were overpaying back then. Now there are like 2 shows I was a part of, which were very good shows. Like I was really proud of them. Guilty Minds on Prime Video and Raat Jawan Hai on Sony Live. Both, even though very appreciated, very liked, but both didn't get a second season. Because now OTTs are also, tightening the wallet. They are not giving the money they used to give earlier. Because a lot of the stuff that they bought didn't work.
I mean, and we also looked at films like, you mentioned that in recent times, not a lot of low budget movies are being made. But we've also seen movies like Lapata Ladies, which did really very well. And especially speaking about today's generation, people don't have that much of an attention span. But we've also seen people sit for almost 4 hours for movies like Dhurandhar. So, what's your take on this?
I think somewhere you have to, tell really strong stories in a, which are well narrated and engross the audience. I think you have to bring them back because right now they have very low attention spans. So you have to really work on great concepts, that will bring the audience back, just excite them, which I think the producers are now clueless as to, because their herd mentality also is also a huge problem. अच्छा ये चल रहा है तो सब ऐसे ही बनाओ. But the films that have worked right now are, that you cannot make another Dhurandhar or Animal or those kind of films. It's not like anybody can make those films. Specific people have made those films. Whether you agree with them or not, it's not every filmmaker cannot make that. People who have tried to replicate an Animal, it hasn't worked. Bring in the ultra violence and all that. So the core has to be strong. Your emotion has to be strong for the film to work.
Do you
And
think
sometimes good films also take time. Sometimes they are too early. Matlab you realize their quality and greatness years later. Like I'm sure, like Anurag's No Smoking, if it would have released today, it would have been a hit, I think, because today's audience would have actually connected with it. 2007, it was far too early for that film.
Do you think a lot of these changes is also because, I would argue, because of a decline in star culture? Because it's like, yes, we still have like the Khans, but if you look at the subsequent generations, there aren't those like mega stars who are like larger than life kind of people. So do you think वो culture erode हो रहा है, or it's just like gone a different direction and it's not the same as what it was? So do you think that's also impacted the
I
ability?
don't think now people care for stars, I think.
Exactly.
या मतलब वो है कि हाँ थोड़ा सा उनका जो एक ऑडियंस बेस है, they will want, but producers want stars. Producers can't do without stars because they are assured a comfortable budget, and they can make stars or guarantee a good budget to make the film.
Right.
But they don't guarantee box office anymore, I think. If the film is good, if a film is strong and solid, then the film will work. That's the thing. I think the thing is people are not putting effort in scripts or even, concepts or whatever. Because, films still get easily made in India versus Europe. Europe, there is a huge struggle. You have to, go through years through film funds and, government funds and keep polishing your script. It has to be special. And after a lot of struggle, a film gets made. Here, it is very different. Here, it's really difficult, but still relatively easy as compared to the rest of the world.
Right. And just on the topic of struggle, so, this is something that we as common people, who are not as affiliated with the film industry keep hearing, that if you don't have the connects to get into the film industry, there are a lot of different ways that you may or may not have to resort to. And sometimes these are not the most, sought after or looked upon. So what is your take on such things?
Yeah, today's times are very different. You can see the kind of films that have been made on smartphones. Yeah. Today, there are so many social media channels and you can do so much. I mean, which was not there in the early 2000s when I joined here. Today, the digital camera had started, the mini DV cameras, and there were people making stuff on that also. But now it's even more easier. Yeah. Now there's YouTube. That's the main thing, that you have a place to, put up your work. I saw that day a film, some Instagram profile, that Chalachitra Talkies. It's a good Instagram page to follow. So that day he put up like zero budget films on, and there was one actual zero budget where a guy made a 1.5 hour film without any budget. Like everyone worked for free, and it's there, and it's got some 50-70,000 views or something like that. So, and there are films that have been made for 7 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. So you can make it. And today the technology is so great that anyone who wants to make a film can do a online course of screenplay, some basic filmmaking. There are so many courses and everything is so easily available now that anyone can make it.
I also wanted to talk about this other part of the industry, which is sort of considered the darker side of the industry. Do you think that really exists? And do you think it's in proportion to what people perceive it to be? Or do you think it's just like an exaggerated thing that, there is always this dark side to Bollywood, which people know exists but don't talk about?
See, I would like to believe that the kind of mainstream films that you watch that are released and where A or A plus grade production houses are involved, I don't think there is any serious kind of exploitation of any kind, no casting couches or whatever. But the thing is, the industry is so large in terms of there is so many B, C grade films which nobody knows where they come, where they are played, and when they disappear, nobody knows how they function. So, and because there is no degree or education qualification required to enter this industry, people just come. Like I've narrated the story about this incident that happened in my office some 5-6 years back. And this young couple, two kids, I mean hardly 19, 20, 21. They came crying in my office and I asked them what's wrong, sit down. I gave them water and tea and they said, sir, we have been kicked out of all the offices. And they were crying and there was a humiliation on their face. And this is in Aram Nagar, where there are a lot of the casting offices are around there in Warsaw. So I asked them, so what happened? Wherever we go, they just ask us to leave. I said, so where have you trained as an actor? What have you done? They said, no, we don't know acting. We have come to Bombay to learn acting. I was like, are you mad? And where are you from? They're from Bihar. So what the issue is that a lot of kids just come. Think Bombay jayenge, actor. So every podcast that I'm a part of, I tell them ki bhaiya, all actors whoever wants to become an actor, please stay in your city with your parents, join a theatre group or an institute, long-term institute, or find out but 3, 4, 5 years, train and then come to Bombay. If you come to Bombay as novices, people will exploit you. And that is what happens, that people ever want to get into the film industry, many of their parents, actually girls and all, are not encouraged by their families, so they leave the house and come. So they are in a vulnerable state and then people exploit that. People will tell actors, हाँ 50,000 दे दो और आपको role मिल जाएगा, and then they disappear. There are fake auditions to trap girls. So this side mein there is this industry which nobody knows where it is or what. It has, spots all along, between Andheri and Malad or wherever, like I don't know. So those exploiters are there. So because of which the whole industry gets a bad name.
Right.
But otherwise, all the films that you're seeing is all done very professionally. A Dhurandhar or my projects or casting based project or Shruti Maj's project, they're all done for Bansali. Shruti cast for Bansali, Nandini cast for Excel, their product. It's all done very professionally. People are sent scenes, actors are called, time given, auditions are done in studios or self-tests from home or whatever, shared with the directors, finalized, contract signed. It's very clear and clean. It's just this other part which doesn't really, which you don't even see those films.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think that definitely adds
I
up.
think. And the Me Too thing also happened in 2018. So whoever was indulging in it, this is also now careful and, at least there is some kind of a pushback on that nobody does it as freely as it was earlier. There were some bad apples, definitely. But it's changed. Like after the Me Too movement, things have changed. It's all getting better and better.
No, I think that
At some
definitely makes
personal
sense.
level, at a very high level, I wouldn't know.
I think a lot of it is also hearsay that, some things which we may or may
Yeah.
not know about, and we don't necessarily have the right information, or more importantly, all the information.
Yeah.
But I think, as we're getting towards the end of the episode, I want to ask you,
Hmm.
what are the current projects that you're working on, and if you can share some interesting stories or interesting bits from there.
The current project, I think I last worked on a Bobby Deol film, again by Anurag. It's coming out in May. It's called Bandar. Interesting. I mean, like, it was a standard film casting, but I was very happy with the cast that we got for it from all over. Like, we cast people from in small parts from the Kannada film industry, from Malayalam film industry. So a nice mix of actors and had great fun. And Anurag's projects are always fun.
So again, this is a very, very controversial question, or maybe a very controversial question. But we've also seen that, in recent times, a lot of Bollywood movies have started casting actors or actresses from the South industry. And, that's also to unlock a larger audience for the film itself. Like, I think that, Tollywood or all these other industries they have such massive fan followings that, when you cast these actors or actresses from there, it just unlocks a whole different level of an audience. But yeah, we've also seen that at times it works, but at times it also doesn't. So what is your take on this?
It doesn't, most of the times it doesn't work, I think. I mean, you see it through the years. I mean, I think now also, I think so many films came with. Whatever has come with some South actors, with the where the male lead is the South guy, it's not made much of a difference. I think the films weren't strong. See, when you're not, you're from that is my belief is that when you're not working on an idea or a story, but you are kind of making a project. So whenever you make a project versus making a film, the project will usually not work. A project is something that is an assured table profit, where you get a star from the South, a star from Bollywood, a female from X industry, get this music, this, your assured returns, A satellite will fetch you this much, and the OTT will fetch you this much. So on table, everything looks set, and then the script comes later, and the story is worked on like, हाँ ठीक है, बस ठीक है, हो जाएगा. But when a lot of effort has been put in the screenplay, in what you want to say and how you want to say it, those films will always work. So that's what it's always. Projects don't work, films work.
So this has actually been such a fascinating conversation. Before we let you go, though, I have to ask that you did say yourself that the industry is very different today from what it was when you entered it. So let's say there's an MBBS student like yourself in the second year, clearly doesn't want to do more of medicine, wants to go into films. How would you advise that person to approach entering the film industry today? Because clearly, it's a different world today that they're going to be dealing with.
Whether to ask them to quit medicine?
No, I mean, how would they? Okay, yes, I mean, I guess that would be step one. But what do you think they should start doing?
I think see, yeah, I always tell, like, I have my friends, kids or somebody, like, was the go-to guy for a while, when the kids were confused, ki, acha, speak to Gautam, maybe he'll be able to guide you. So I just tell everyone, stay true to your heart, like, be truthful to yourself and you'll know the answers. I was still unsure. Yeah, I want to be part of films, but I was very kind of a guy, like very scared of his parents to speak up or anything. I was like, हाँ खत्म तो कर लेता हूँ, यहाँ भेजा है, ऐसे दिए हैं, मतलब, it was more fees than a government college, like, so they are spending money and sending, you're living in a hostel outside, expenses, all that. So all those thoughts and your middle class upbringing makes you feel, no, yaar, maybe it's just a passing phase. You never know, be sure. That is, but today's kids, I think, know way more about what they want than what people like me were at that age, So, but be truthful to yourself and just keep thinking about it, whether you really want to do it, how much, have a conversation with your parents, have that talk, be more open about it. And see, I wouldn't say कि छोड़ दो या ये करो वैसा नहीं मतलब, but at least have that conversation. Like don't be like me at least. Like don't hide it, but ask questions to yourself and then have that heart to heart, or have with a mentor or somebody, somebody to really ask you those tough questions, because that's the thing, you want somebody to bounce in the such times. So that friend of mine, that senior, he was 4 years senior to me, he said Gautam देख यार तू कर लेगा, but पहले तो ये खत्म कर, तूने चालू किया है वो, like so you better finish it because you seem a bit unsure right now, so otherwise you will never finish what you start. So that thing stayed in my head and I completed medicine. So that's how I was raised, and that's how my thinking was. It might not apply to somebody else, but seek out some mentor kind of a person who will have that conversation with you.
This has been absolutely fascinating. I mean, I think just your journey has been so incredibly interesting. Who would imagine going from medicine into the film?
My one friend, she's a doctor. She's an actor now, Samvedna Suvalka. She also did her MBBS. We became friends because she was a casting assistant at my friend's office, and she came to know about me. So that bond was already there. That he's also a doctor, So she's also one of the people close to me who's an MBBS. She's in a lot of web shows.
Probably another guest for our podcast.
Yeah, for sure. But I think
Again, thank you so much for your time. It's been a splendid conversation.
Most welcome.
Really, it's just been so engaging. We really did not know where that hour went. But on that note, for all our listeners, thank you once again. This just tells you that nothing really stops you from pursuing your passion, and there's no such thing as a conventional career trajectory. So on that note, thank you so much. I'm Amey.
I'm Meg, and thank you so much for joining from Stuff to Startups. See you on the next episode.
To startups, yeah, we're making